Yeah. Now's as good a time as any to go on here. Welcome back to Open Hours. This is going to be a short one today, people. We have Exhibit A right here. What do you like better? That one or that one? You can see some junk in the background. Before I go on all about that, let me go here and show you something on my screen. So, anybody that's ever done live streaming, you know that you can have a thumbnail for the video, and you may need to change it at some point. You know, if you're doing different videos, different live streams, you don't want the same thumbnail. Or, you know, if I do something for the podcast and we use the podcast logo here, I don't want that for my normal videos. So, with your camera, your smartphone, and they're too big, I think there is a max size that you can upload, and it won't let them upload. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm talking about changing the thumbnail on YouTube. Now, let me share this out quick. Let's see if it's going to share properly. Is it? Probably not. What do we title this one? Friday what? Friday upgrades. Sure. Post to Facebook. If anybody goes and watches it, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to close this now. But one of the web pages that I use when changing the thumbnail just to compress it is tinyjpeg.com. It's free. You do have a 5 megabyte max, 5 megabytes each, up to 20 images that you can compress. So if you need to make your image size smaller for uploading anywhere, this is a good site to do it. And it took off my 3.1 megabyte total file size 75%, so it took 2 megabytes off, so 1.1 under 783.0 kilobytes. So I got to, you know, take and upload that too for the channel thumbnail. Getting back to this here. Here, let me try and park you guys down here a little closer. You probably, yeah, so you get to see my webcam. It's right in the way. This is the RAM I was going to upgrade. This is RAM that I was going to use and never used, but I forgot. I think I put matched RAM in here, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to hang that back up and keep it on the shelf. And obviously, we don't need 2 SSDs in that laptop there, although we could do it, you know, if you want to add a secondary hard drive and you don't have a spot in the computer for a second hard drive, you can do it with an OptiBay adapter. And usually if you get the right one, let me move these. If you get the right one, the door for your DVD writer, DVD-ROM, CD-ROM will pop right off of your ROM and click into place on here. And then it just slides right in. Secondary spot for a hard drive will slide in, and imagine that it, you know, has the door on it like this does. You get that nice factory look. However, you don't have the use of your DVD writer, which isn't a big deal in 2018. You know, these computers are pretty good, and with digital downloads for games and streaming and fairly fast internet for most people, you don't really need to worry about all that. So it's 408. We're going to attempt to do this quick. I left the screws out of this from the last time I had it torn down. We need to take the couple out here and get a hard drive mounted in there. It is going to be an SSD upgrade, and it's going to be a fairly goofy one. I'll talk about that for a moment. Now, this is one of those situations where it may end up working out. And what do I mean by that? Well, this SSD already had Windows installed on it. So we bought it new, somebody planned to buy the computer that it went into, or they wanted to upgrade theirs. We upgraded it. They decided against the price and wanted to go with a conventional hard drive because lower price, more capacity, and they're dealing with data, and they didn't really care about the speed aspect. So it already has Windows installed on it with a similar architecture Intel. So there would be 2nd and 3rd gen were together, 4th and 5th, 6th and 7th, and 8th falls in line with 6th and 7th, but same socket for the Intel processors, but slightly different as far as what chipset you can have. For 6th, 7th gen, you can they all pretty much work together, but you're likely not going to put an Intel 8th gen in a 6th or 7th gen board without a serious upgrade to the BIOS, you know, for the drivers, the chipset and stuff. So this is, let's get back to the laptop here. This is the laptop that had a dead motherboard, and it had a very, very bad cooling solution, just the aluminum plate. You saw this one, I pulled it up as an example in the cut corners video, I think, and then I pulled it up again in the corners, trading corners for fins or whatever, live stream that I did. We went from an Intel Celeron dual core with hyper-threading, I think, maybe, if they do that. So what would essentially be a real weak, low clocked 4-core processor to a quad-core Intel Core i5, I believe. Don't hold me to that because I'm not 100%. I haven't booted this thing with an OS to check. So it has matched RAM in it. It's got an SSD going into it now, hopefully. But Windows was installed onto this SSD. And some people, you do this. I've ran into a few here that don't really build computers, or and this is the problem that I was worried about. That clips in, but I have these on the wrong side. Is that how it's going to go? Could it be? Could it be? No, because that would have to fit there. Then this one would fit here. That makes absolutely zero sense unless this thing is that much bigger than Alright, so let's take this back out and take a look here. I thought that I screwed these in and it was going to work out. That's in the right way. That will go there. It's going to sit there and mount up to that one. Maybe? No. Yes. Okay, so I had it flipped the wrong way around. I just had end for end changed because it would fit either way, but not. Ooh, that's even better. Okay, holes line up, everything's good. So let's go ahead and get this mounted down now and get it installed. Back to the Windows story. Windows was installed on this in a laptop with an Intel processor, the same chipset, same generation Intel, I'm going to say. One was 4th, one was 5th. Can you take a hard drive out of one computer and have it be okay in another? Sometimes yes. If you're switching from AMD to Intel, or Intel to AMD, I've had mixed results doing it that way. I've had it work and I've had it not work. And there are quite a few people that have chosen to do that aren't familiar with installing Windows or configuring, you know, a new setup on a computer, getting a Windows install disk and doing an OEM install. It's not very hard. Anybody that has questions, leave questions, leave comments, whatever. Stop in, call the shop, 814-342-7533. Email me. The contact is in the description. So I've got away with it, and I've tried it just out of curiosity in the past and not got away with it. Had pretty disastrous results and ended up having to reinstall. But you can do it. You can take a a hard drive installed with Windows from one computer and put it into another, and what it will do more often than not is deactivate your copy of Windows. And you're gonna have to call Microsoft or get a hold of them over your smartphone and reactivate it on a separate computer, and they don't really like that because, you know, you got to register your product key to one computer. You're not supposed to be doing it to multiple computers. Alright, the Cut Corners laptop. Let's go over the specs a bit again. It got a motherboard upgrade, processor upgrade, huge upgrade from a Celeron or a Pentium, either a Celeron or Pentium motherboard to a Core i5. Doubled the RAM up. The original motherboard, if anybody remembers. Oh, my camera froze there. We can't go there. Let's go there. Actually, let's unfreeze the camera for everybody. Deactivate this device when not showing. That seems to do it, but I get a little bit of a lag. So it'll deactivate it, and we go over and it reactivates with a black screen. So originally, the original motherboard had one RAM slot. Corners were cut there, corners were cut on the cooling solution. We've got a motherboard, 2 RAM slots, an actual proper cooling solution versus the cheap aluminum plate with a copper sticker. And processor upgrade that is actually soldered to the motherboard, SSD. Let's go ahead and pop this back together and see if we've made it great again. Now, granted, it may boot, but in the long run, I just kind of wanted to do the video showing that you could do this. It's not the way to do it. Do a fresh install of Windows. It's not hard. If you get lost with it, call us. We're not gonna be tech support live on the phone all day for you, but I would see no problem with helping somebody out, answer a few questions. But yeah, we can't be on the phone all day. We're back and forth, spending all our time doing free tech support. That's not how that works. But we'll answer questions and help you out, give you some pointers, put you off in the right direction. So, we know we got the hard drive in. We're pretty good to go there. Let's go ahead and wind all of our screws back in quick. Get the power supply that is compatible with this thing. And see what is the story. We'll throw our ROM back in now. This screw mounts our ROM in there. And hopefully we can contact the person that is buying this and they will come pick it up. Probably not today. Like I said, it is getting a fresh load of Windows put onto it, but for the purposes of entertainment, we will we'll go to the zoomed in one. We'll show you what's happening. For the purposes of entertainment in the live stream, we will boot up this Windows install that was in another computer. Thankfully, the write cycles to the laptop, or to the SSD, we didn't do a whole bunch other than install Windows and the drivers. We did not do any data transfer. So essentially it is still a new SSD. It's not 100% new, but it is still new. It's new enough to the point that it is new used, going with a used computer. And this is the part I don't like. You got to get under these little rubber feet and put in two of your screws go under these rubber feet. Alright, there's one. We'll make sure that clips back in. We got one over here. Not sure where it goes. Is it closer to the inside or closer to the other side? There it is. Okay. Throw that in quick. And consider this reassembly done. We should have time to boot this up at least. It may reboot a couple times and cry about the activation. Where do we want to do this at? We want to go with the right cam? I think that'll work for everybody. Yeah, where can I put you guys? Can I put you right there? Is that okay? You comfortable there? Alright. Good deal. If you're not complaining, I'm not complaining. Alright. So, here's our shop power supply. Okay, so it was an Intel Pentium, as is evidenced by the sticker right there. Let's go ahead and get this here and get it booted up and see what happens. And while that's booting, I can talk and maybe everybody. Okay, good deal. We have charge. We have power. Let's head on into the BIOS quick. Uh-oh. That's the get 'em alarm. Okay, so we went from an Intel, get your stuff and go alarm. We went from an Intel Pentium to a Core i5 5200U. So 1 point something gigahertz on the original processor for the clock, over to a 2.20 gigahertz Core i5 5200. So let's look up this computer quick. We'll spec this out. I wanted to do this the other day, and it is an HP 15 AC. The original sticker on it will tell us it is a 15 AC 132DS. 15 AC 132DS. Product specifications. Where is... Okay, we'll go there. We'll see what HP is going to tell us. And essentially I don't know what it is, so I can just read the specs off. So it had a 1.6 gigahertz Intel Pentium N3700, turbo boost up to 2.40 gigahertz quad core. It would take 4 gigs of DDR3, maxed out at 4, I believe. One slot, it tells you right there. HD graphics, no, so it could share some system memory. Bright View, we still got the Bright View display. The 1 terabyte hard drive we don't have. We've replaced that with a 240 gigabyte SSD. Super multi DVD burner, all blah blah, 10100 card, wireless BGN, wireless LAN, and the rest. You have some USB 3.0, USB 2, HDMI, your network port, headphone. And I'm not a fan. Let me say this right now. I'm really not a fan of the combo port. The headphone microphone port being one port. I don't like it. If you're into doing audio production or anything like I do for the podcast or the live stream, that sucks on a laptop. That's one thing that stopped me from using a laptop other than just pure power. Yeah, that's one thing that stopped me from doing the live stream and the audio stuff with a laptop. Everything else pretty much stayed the same. The cam, the touchpad, all that. So there's the specs of the HP 15 AC 132DS laptop, which we have very awesomely upgraded to. We'll try and show you this. This thing needs cleaned. We don't want to exit now. Where can I put everybody? Can we... Can't really see the screen, huh? Yeah, kind of a nightmare. Let's try this. That will cut some glare for everybody. Not so much. Okay, so we have an Intel Core i5 5200U, 2.20 gigahertz. This thing is running on 8 gigs of RAM now because of the dual RAM slots. And the SSD upgrade. So let's take and reboot this recently uncut corner laptop and see if we made it great again. Exit discarding changes. What did we change? The time's right, the date's right, it all looks good. No, let's go over to exit saving changes. We'll hit yes. I don't know that this is going to boot. May need to change the secure boot options or something like that. Install an operating system on your hard disk. F2. F10. Does F10 get us in? Let's go ahead and look through the options and see if this will boot at all. TPM available. Enabled. Clear TPM now. Restore security to factory device defaults. What do we got? Language, virtualization, fan always on, action keys mode. We don't want USB 3.0 boot options. Alright. We're going to bump the timer up to 5. CD-ROM boot. Yes, enabled. Internal network adapter boot. Never. We don't do that normally. Okay, so legacy support is disabled. Let's enable it. Yes, that disables secure boot. Enrolled none. And let's escape out of the boot options, go to exit saving changes, and see if we can get Windows to boot up on this laptop. Maybe, probably not. Yeah, okay. Operating system boot mode change. 545468 plus enter to complete. Escape P for startup menu. We had the 5-second timeout. Boot device options F9. See if we can get it to notebook hard drive. Is it going to go? It may fail. Okay. Not recommended. This had Windows installed on another computer. Similar hardware, not the same. Definitely not recommended. Yep. So there, we got a blue screen there. PC ran into a problem, needs to restart. So that would be kernel security check failure, processor, chipset, all that. Just the drivers are too different. It's going to have an issue. So we do need to reinstall Windows on this. Let's go ahead and get our Windows 10 UEFI. Nope. Oh, is it going to do something? Should we let it do it and see what happens? Getting Windows ready, don't turn off your computer. Okay, so it took a minute to configure. But this thing may boot and install some drivers. Okay, let's find out. Did I get system? Not connected to network. I don't expect. Oh, see? Attempted write to read-only memory. So I'm guessing we're going to keep getting blue screens. So we're just going to nix that right now. Power this guy down, if it will. Alright, it's down. We're going to boot up, go into BIOS. Okay, is that the super speed? Yes, it is. We want the normal. And now we don't want to exit. What we are going to do though is go back over to our boot options and just get the install going of Windows 10. We will actually, yeah, we'll disable legacy support. Yes. Secure boot is enabled. Platform key. So we're using the UEFI. We'll leave it enabled. Let's see if we can get out of here and get this thing to boot with our few remaining minutes. Exit saving changes, and we're going to F9 it to get to our boot options. USB hard drive, SanDisk. Let's see. Select the boot image. Do not authenticate. Press enter to continue. Okay. F10 to go into the BIOS. We're going to change. Okay. Boot options. Let's turn secure boot off. Disable secure boot. We have legacy support disabled. It should still be in UEFI mode, if you want to call it that. Let's change that timeout to 5 seconds is a bit extreme. We'll go with the 0. 429. It's about time to clean up. So, Exit saving changes, F9 to get our boot options, and try this again. See if we can get Windows install booting. 2351 plus enter. USB hard drive, Windows 10 setup, 64-bit. Let's see what happens. Alright, we'll clean it up. It may take a couple minutes here and eat. Did it crash on me when I walked away? I have some paperwork to do quick. Okay, install. Let's hit next. Install now. $430. I accept. What do you know? Alright, so let's delete these partitions from the previous Windows install. Get a raw hard drive, no partitioning. We'll let Windows do all that over. We'll delete the old boot partition as well. And you can hit new and partition out to different sizes if you want, or hit next, and it'll just give you just enough room for the boot partition, and the rest will be allocated to your actual hard drive space. And I know nobody can see that. It probably looks horrible. Oh, sorry people. I don't plan these out very well, let me tell you that. What if I put you right there? Is that comfortable? Kinda? No? Can't really see, so. Yeah, I can't dim the screen down. Can't do none of it. I can bring the glare back, which kinda lets you see. Alright, well I think that's that. The Windows install has not finished. It has not completed successfully. However, safe to say that we let it go. I think it's going to. 10 is very good about getting drivers, and we should have a computer. Oh, look at that. So it crashed right as I'm talking about it should complete. It crashed on me. Alright, so Monday. Anybody coming for the Christmas Eve live stream? Anybody? Let me know. I'll see you there. If so, with this thing crashing out on me, we will pick this up on Monday. Tried to do it live. It failed miserably. What can I say? That's what happens when you rush things. We do it right because we do's it twice. Alright people, have a good week. Have a good weekend. All the above. Good week. I hope your week was good. Have a good weekend. The holiday season is coming. Don't forget to check out the podcast on Sunday if you haven't before. Then maybe you will, sometime soon if you haven't checked it out before. Just logging into the website, and then we'll flip back over to the screen. I know I said about this before, and I think the fundraiser, the GoFundMe, is still going. My wife set this up. It's to cover the funeral cost of Justin Johnson, her cousin, first cousin, direct family. So he was a truck driver involved in a truck accident, passed away. I already said about this on the podcast, but he was the one that taking care of his family, paying the bills, and without him, it's never good when one of our loved ones, friends, family leaves us, and the burden of, taking over finances that you previously weren't used to. So if anybody can donate, the family and myself would greatly appreciate it. If you can't, and you can at least just share it out there on the internet, and let people know about it. the more people that know, hopefully, even if it's $1, they would appreciate it greatly. Like, the more, I can't believe that anybody's even donated. I didn't think stuff like this really happened. But it goes to show that, you know, there are good people out there. Here's the website, antisocialexperience.com, ASE, Antisocial Experience Podcast on Facebook. I know this is open hours, but I'm just showing the stuff. Sunday, we're going to try and do a Christmas show. Hopefully it works out well for everybody. And, you know, share it out. If you can donate, donate. Thanks again for watching, and I will see everybody Monday, Sunday, and then Monday. Have a good weekend, people.